All right, let me start with Jimmy here because of those 82 wins that Mac had in 1984. Two of them were over you, Jimmy, including the Roland Garros quarterfinal. What was it like playing John that year?
It was very annoying, I got to tell you, because what was happening, it was different. I played him in 83, and I got a sad, and it was reasonably close. In 84, he switched from the wood racket to that Dunlop sort of mid-size racket that you saw him playing with, graphite racket. And he would take my first serve, bunt it deep in the corner, never miss it, and come in. So my serve, my next ball was a running backhand pass, which, as some of you may know, is not a strength. So that caused me all kinds of angst. And the first match we played that year was semifinals at Tournament of Champions at Forest Hills. And the only reason I remembered this well is I was down 6-1, 4-0. And I guess in those days, television just came on when they wanted to. And Howard Cosell was commentating. And that's when the match came on. And I hear Howard Cosell say, "We don't have much of a match today." I then won 2 games in a row because it sort of spurred me on somehow. And luckily, Jimmy Connors lost 0-0 in the later semi that day to Yvonne Lendl. What's interesting also about that year for me was McEnroe beat Lendl twice leading up to the French Open on clay, really comprehensively, straight sets, both at Dusseldorf at the World Team Cup and that final at Forest Hills. And it was up 2 sets to love and a break in the final. And at the time, Lendl was the guy that was known to choke. McEnroe was so full of confidence. So that was that changed the trajectory of both careers, I think, in some ways, because Lendl, that was his first major.
So, Jimmy, I guess you're saying 84 was kind of like a bit of a Mission Impossible situation trying to beat John McEnroe. So I'm going to pull in a little someone who was a little Ethan Hunt that year, able to accomplish that mission. Pops, can you pop in for a minute here?
Vijay.
You took out McEnroe in Cincy. Almost impossible. How on earth did you do it?
You look good on TV, Prakash. What can I say? Been watching you guys all day, all week. It's been fantastic just listening to all of you. Thank you for having me on. I tell you, that 84 match in Cincinnati brought out every Indian who lived in Cincinnati to that match. And that might have also bothered McEnroe a little bit. But I had beaten him in Toronto the year before. And thanks to the great Roy Emerson, who actually gave me a heads up as to how to play him, because I really struggled against McEnroe. I just couldn't see where he was serving. You know, every time I played him, it was a one-sided match. The genius just came out every time he played me, so I really struggled. But that particular match against John was arguably my best quality of tennis match I ever played. I didn't get to break point on my serve. For the first time, I served better than he did. And it was 3 sets, but I lost the first set 7-6, but then went on to win the next 2 fairly comfortably. And it was not even a problem of closing it out. It just went according to plan. And the most pleased person was the great Roy Emerson, who actually helped me design a plan to actually play a good match against McEnroe, perhaps not winning, but certainly playing against him. The guy was a genius. I mean, when he played well, it didn't matter who he played.
Vijay, I've always really liked you, and now not so much, because why didn't you tell me how to play McEnroe? You obviously had the answer. What was the answer? How do you play him? I still don't know.
I think the important aspect of playing the guy was to be able to actually not serve his backhand, which was a weapon that he was able to hold down at your feet. I obviously like to serve and volley, and he liked to put it down at your feet and then open up the court with the forehand either way, whether you're at the back or whether you're coming in forward to make a volley. And the other thing also was to be able to take a second serve and go in. If he gave you a few second serves, to be able to actually hit the ball and go in, so that he had somewhere to look at and to look up at you and see you standing up there. A big guy like me standing at the net was, he could easily go for the body, which he did on many occasions. But the more and more he got upset, the more confident I got.
Well, it's so amazing. He only lost 3 matches all year, and the man who beat him in one of those 3 is right next door. Vijay, thank you very much for making the long commute from the living room into the office. And by the way, I noticed, did you have something in your hand right there? I just wanted to see if you did.
Oh, do I have something in my hand? No.
Oh, I thought you might have had a glass of wine, because I know you had one the last time we had. Sorry, that's for later, I know. Vijay, great honor to have you on the show. Prakash, thanks for bringing Pops into it.
Thanks very much. It's great being on the show, and you guys have done a great job. Love watching TC.
It is always great having Vijay Amritraj with his little boy.